let's get into 5.1.1. So also reductions, just there's no x's and thetas and all of those things, but that's okay. Instead, we're going to replace the 210, 240, 170, 135, 225, and 100 with something, okay? But remember this, whenever you replace it with something, what you replace it with still has to equal to the value that is there. Okay, so what am I saying? I'm saying this. So this is the question we're doing, right? So I'm going to say that I've got 10 of something. But if I put in here, still has to equal to 210. So I'm going to make it 180 plus 30, because 180 plus 30 is still 210. Okay, and then I get to reduce it to an acute angle. Okay, then I have a sine, and that's 240. So I'm always going to use 180 or 360. Okay, yes, it is possible to also use 270. Maybe we should go with 270. I prefer not, but okay, let's go with 270, and we can say 270 minus 30, and then sine. Right, so we can do two things over here. We can say that we now have to deal with a negative angle and reduce the negative angle first. I think I'll do that. Okay, so let's just get rid of that quickly. And we are going to say that is going to give us a negative sine of our 170, or maybe we will change the 170 now. Okay, let's go change it now. Something that's still equal to 170, so it's 180 minus 10. Okay, and all of this needs to be divided by, right, let's make a straight line here. All of this needs to be divided by this cos 181, something that is still 135. So I'm going to say 180 minus 45, and I'm going to say sine, whatever's in the bracket still has to be 225. So I'm going to say 180 plus 45, and cos, let's make that 180 minus 80. I can already see what's going to happen over here. These, okay, but let's first, let's just go through it. Okay, so now we do all of our reductions. Okay, 180 plus puts me in this quadrant over here. Tan is positive there, so this reduces to positive tan of our 30 degrees. Okay, 270 minus, that's in this quadrant, so this is going to give me a negative. Okay, so this is minus. Because of 270, we know that sine is going to change from sine to cos of our acute angle, which is our 30 there. Okay, that negative is going to stay there. 180 plus 180, oh sorry, 180 minus, that's over there, and sine is positive, so this reduces to a positive. But that negative that is there stays there. This part is going to be positive, so this negative is this one. This is positive sine of my 10 degrees. Okay, denominator, right, 180 minus, that's this quadrant. Cos, well, cos is negative there, so this is minus cos of your 45. Okay, sine 180 plus, it's over here again. Sine is negative, so this is a minus sine of 45 degrees, and then cos 180 minus, that's here again, and cos is negative there, so this is a negative cos of your 80 degrees. Okay, happy? Great, we've done all our reductions, right? So there's going to be more to do, but we've done all our reductions so far. Let's check what next. These over here, well, in fact, all of these are familiar, right? Because we know how to deal with 30s and 45s. Okay, these two, we should be able to think about the 10 and the 80, 10 and 80. That's going to give me 90. So these can change between each other and will eventually cancel out. Don't worry, we'll do that in a moment. But let's deal with these first. Okay, so in order to deal with these, there are two triangles you need to know, right? This one is going to be your this one is going to be your equilateral. It used to be equilateral triangle, right? So it used to be equilateral, and when it was equilateral, all of your sides were 2. Right, so all of it was 2 when it was equilateral, and because it was equilateral, all of your angles were 60. but it used to be equilateral, and then we cut it in half. So the one side fell away and the other side is remaining. So because it was cut in half, this length, which was 2, is now 1. And this, which was 60, when it got cut in half, it left you with a 30, right? And then let's just erase all of this. We don't actually need this half. Okay, right? And we are going to say this is going to, Pythagoras is going to tell us that it's this one squared minus that one squared, so it's going to leave a 3. That's a triangle. Either you memorize this triangle or you figure it out the way that I figured it out now, right? And once you have this one, sine, cos, and tan of 30 is easy to figure out because you also know that other word, which is SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA, this triangle, this is easy to find out. Okay, right, let's get the values here. Tan is opposite adjacent, tan of 30, 30 is here. Opposite is there, so that's going to be 1 over adjacent is your square root 3. So this is 1 over square root 3. And this question usually says like without the use of a calculator. So immediately when I see 1 over square root 3, I know you didn't use a calculator because the calculator is not going to give me this. Calculator is going to rationalize your denominator. So your calculator is going to give you square root 3 over 3. If I see that, I know you use the calculator. So don't do that. Know the triangle and now to do the reduction on your own. Okay. So that's a negative. This is also a negative. So I'm just going to ignore that negative now. I'm going to make it positive because negative, negative, multiplying, it's going to be positive on top. Okay. So this is going to give me cos. Cos is adjacent hypotenuse. 30 is over here, adjacent hypotenuse. Great. This one we still have to figure out. Right? Remember we said that negative multiplied with that negative, so there's no more negatives on top. Okay. All right, let's get the bottom part over here. Cos 45. Well, there's a negative and a negative. So I'm going to ignore these two negatives. And this one, this negative is still here. So I'm going to put that negative in front. And now all of the negatives I'm just going to ignore. Okay, this one times this one made a positive. One negative left, I put that in front. 45. Okay, so now we need another triangle, right? And that one starts out being, well, it doesn't start out, we don't change it, it's always. That one starts out being an equilateral isosceles, where this one and this one is 1. Because this is 90, these have to be the same, and they will then be 45. Pythagoras tells me this is square root 2. Great, 1 square root 2. Cos, SOHCAHTOA, adjacent, hypotenuse, adjacent here. Hypotenuse is there. So that is going to be 1 over square root 2. Sine of 45, right? So that is going to be back here, 45. Opposite over hypotenuse, that's also 1 over square root 2. And then this one over here, which is cos of 18. Okay, great. So let's check quickly what happens. So that one cancels with that. And this leaves me with 1 over 2 times your sine of 10. And then this over here, 1 times 1 is going to be 1. Square root 2 times square root 2 is going to be 2. This over here, I'm going to change that, right? It's going to be cos. And I'm going to put something inside my bracket that's still 80. So 90 minus 10 is still 80. Okay, great. So numerator, I left unchanged. Oh, okay, let's leave it unchanged. It's fine. Denominator, because it's 90, I'm reducing, right? So 90 minus, let's get it here. 90 minus puts us in this quadrant. There's 90 minus, and everything is positive there. Okay, great. So here we have 90 minus, so cos is positive there. So it's going to reduce to positive. Because of my 90 is going to change from cos and it's going to become sine of our acute angle, which is our 10. I just remember that that negative was still in front there. Don't forget about that. Same thing divided by same thing. Everything cancels out. And our answer is minus 1. Great. That was easy enough. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment if there's anything that you didn't understand.